I'm not even worried about the public overturning it, especially when you tell them it's gonna go for education and tax relief. Becomes like a 70% approval rating. So I'm not sure, go ahead and put it on the ballot. Thank you very much.
And my question is it safe? Do you think, what are the dangers? Is there going to be an attempt to repeal it? A ballot initiative or some form of, some way to sabotage it?
We're gonna look at an 80-some-odd-year-old decision that we've lived under. I don't know if y'all realize that we could have had an income tax for the last 80-some-odd years. It was, income was determined to be property, had to be uniform. So we actually have we've been allowed a 1% income tax all along. Obviously, in the state, we didn't want a uniform income tax. So what we're trying to do is implement a wealth tax on the very wealthy, not so that we can provide for childcare, healthcare, and education. I think the governor put a few steps in there. He wants to feed every kid at school with the money. That seems like a worthy endeavor, and that amendment was, and he also wanted to expand the working families tax credit, which is an actual tax credit of rebate of sales tax to working families, and that he wanted to expand that. And he also wanted to exempt small businesses from taxes. So I think about 40% of the money would be earmarked for what we would consider as middle class relief, which I think most of us would realize how important that is. It's a great irony that we left Olympia, and then the war starts, and now middle class relief is, now you even hear Republicans concerned about the cost of living. I think Democrats have been concerned for quite some time. So, that's something we're gonna have to tackle next year, but it'll be interesting. I don't think it'll be on the ballot this year because I don't think they can gather the signatures that fast. I also don't think Adam lived through the 24-hour debate, and y'all ought to give him a credit because that's the longest debate that anybody can remember. I do think that the courts will look at, so what the legislature passes comes with a constitutional framework that it is deemed to be constitutional if the legislature passes it. It's up to the courts to tell the legislature what you did was not constitutional. We are operating from a framework that because it passed two chambers and once the governor signs it, it's like, presumed innocent until proven guilty. Well, in this case, presumed constitutional until proven not constitutional. So I think the framework for the court is to look at that old court case. Will they determine that income is property? And in the light of modern court cases all these years, I think there's some real strong legal, and the fact that the governor isn't just gonna sign it, but he campaigned on it, he sponsored it, he put it in his state of this, and he worked it. He worked the bill, he put some things that he wanted to see as amendments. Well, he's a pretty bright guy. I think he was, pretty effective attorney general for 12 years. So it seems to me, as this issue has been looked at in Washington State for the last 12 years, it just seems to me like he would have already looked at the legality and kind of guided us in a way that he probably is pretty confident that is legal. So, I think that's something. This wasn't just a brand new governor who came in out of the business world. This is somebody who's been in Olympia as your AG, working on these issues and had a staff and was prepared to defend it if we had done it sooner. So I think that the fact that the Constitution says it's presumed constitutional, it'd be hard for the courts to overturn it. I'm not even worried about the public overturning it. We already saw that the polls are wildly popular, and even more Republicans, and well over 50% of Republicans support it, especially when you tell them it's gonna go for education and tax relief. Becomes like a 70% approval rating. So I'm not sure, go ahead and put it on the ballot. Thank you very much.